Football! Nameco here, Dustin there, talking about our ultimate fantasy running back. And what do I mean by that? If we're putting together different pieces of running backs from the late 90s to present, and you can take a head, a torso, and arms, the legs, the heart, what would that person look like? We're gonna take a little bit from here, a little bit from this guy. So please subscribe, hit the notifications, and also leave any comments. And also check our channel. We got some other ones up there. This one's about the running backs. We're also doing receivers, quarterbacks. Maybe you want us to do it for kickers or maybe some NBA players at some point. Let us know in the comments. But Dustin, what kind of head are we going with for our running back?
Yeah, this was tough. I mean, when you're looking at the time period that we're looking at, kind of the fantasy relevant time period in terms of when fantasy football really started getting going. And one running back obviously comes to mind that has to be on the list, and that's LaDainian Tomlinson.
He's a beast.
The guy was the ultimate fantasy running back. I mean, you could throw Priest Holmes in there a little bit in terms of his a couple of years, but LT for a 9-year span only missed 6 games. 9 years, he had 145 rushing touchdowns. I mean, it's just, when we're looking at the head, we're just looking at ability to keep themselves healthy on and off the field, nose for the end zone.
That's on your head.
Being able to stay out on the field all the time, so you got to be able to be picking up blocking schemes. I mean, there's a lot of running backs that limits their upsides because they're only out there for first and second downs, and Tomlinson was just a complete package. It just made sense for him to be the head of our running back, our Frankenstein running backs. We're going the king of fantasy running backs over that span, LT.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. All right, let's go with the torso. And this one, we debated quite a bit because you got guys like a Peterson, you got a Steven Jackson, or you look at like a Brandon Jacobs. Granted, he didn't do many other things good, but you know what? Brandon Jacobs was a big boy.
Mike Allstott.
Mike Allstott. But the guy we're going with, and the guy that I want to get behind here is the bus, Jerome Bettis. I mean, if just looking at his highlights, did he have breakaway speed? Not really. But you know what he had? He looked like an offensive lineman half the time running around. Earlier, not
how big they are
not how big they are now, but he just had the massive shoulders, the big torso. He would just battering ram people. He would always pick up the extra yard. So again, if it's 4th and short, I'm feeling very good with the Jerome Bettis torso running into the line, and he's probably gonna fall forward.
More than likely. Arms, lots of choices obviously with arms, and with running back, you know, what's attached to your arms, your hands. So that's kind of where we went with in terms of, you know, who we think makes the most sense. You know, are you go Priest Holmes or maybe Curtis Martin, that type of player, but you got to go with who invented kind of the dual threat running back, Marshall Faulk. I mean, this guy was just as much of a receiver as he was a running back. 80 or more catches in 5 straight years when he was in his prime. And this is, you know, in their prime is when we're picking the part from them to make our Frankenstein. And in his prime, he was still probably the best pass-catching running back that's ever played. I mean, the greatest show on turf. That Rams team was so much fun. Marshall Faulk, even though he didn't have the biggest arms, he had those hands, and that's why we want those arms for our Frankenstein.
So when we move on to heart, there was some debate, and that's why I'm talking about this, because I don't trust what this gentleman is going to be saying.
Come on.
But this is a guy that, I love this one interview that he had with him. He had a separated shoulder, he was playing hurt, and they're like, why would you do that? And he said, that's why they pay me money to go out there and run the football.
You don't hear that anymore.
Who was, exactly. You know, he's a gamer. He always tried to get the extra yard. He always fell forward. I even love whenever he went down, he would reach the ball, try to get that extra, maybe an inch or two. But, you know, that's the kind of heart and that's the kind of thing you want out of a running back. The guy that's going to fight for every inch, every little bit that he can get, any advantage he can get. And that guy is Emmitt Smith.
Danny Woodhead. Oh, sorry.
Not Danny Woodhead. Just because Danny's small, Dustin wants his heart. I feel it's because he's small.
But you know, you gotta have, when you've been told your entire life that you're too small to play, but you don't listen.
I mean, I respect it for that, but
I mean, I can't. Obviously, I can't hate on Emmitt.
Emmitt's a beast.
I can't hate on
So
Emmitt.
you know, you just gotta love the fact that Emmitt Smith. He always got the extra yard. He was, the glue of those championship teams. So Emmitt Smith with an honorable mention to Danny Woodhead. I will give him that.
Thank you.
Because you know what? He is just a little guy.
And Emmitt, you know, again, like he just barely fit kind of within our time frame, but you know, he did have some relevant seasons in the late 90s, but we're taking him from his prime when he was a beast but he still put up solid stats towards the end. Legs. When you're talking about the ultimate fantasy Frankenstein running back, obviously Adrian Peterson's got to be somewhere. We had him at torso at first, but then we were like, legs, in terms of just, because obviously there's the speed guys, there's the guys like, even like Darren Sproles,
Chris Johnson.
The quickness, Chris Johnson. I mean, or Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, in terms of just their patience and just their lateral movements, but there's no better combo of speed and power than Adrian Peterson, and that's why I just think you got to pick his legs. The ability to break tackles, you can't, I mean, it's so hard to take him down. I mean, do you hit him high, do you hit him low? Like, either way, he's got a good chance of breaking through. So we're going Adrian Peterson.
And I know he had some knee issues, but again, we're taking him at his best point.
In their prime. So we want to hear what you think. Who did we leave off? Who do you think should have made the list? I mean, obviously it pained us to not be able to fit Priest Holmes on here and a couple other guys.
Or like Barry Sanders, he just missed the cut. Yeah. I wanted Barry.
We wanted to put Barry obviously for the legs, but he didn't quite fit in our time frame because
you retired way too young.
Retired too young.
What are you doing, Detroit?
But that's it for this one. Check out all of our other Frankenstein videos. Check out our rankings, which will be up soon. We're going to be doing those pretty soon, coming up. We're excited about football. We thought these videos would be fun though, so leave some comments. Let us know what you think.
Football!
Subscribe!
Hit the bell!